Welcome back. Make sure to like and subscribe. Here's another Site Alpha story. So, for this story, this is from the soldier's point of view. So, me and my unit are on our last deployment. We got this very cushy job watching over these fire watches over this old military installation that hasn't been touched since the 60s. Since the Cold War, even. And it used to be some kind of bio research site, as far as we know, and it hasn't been touched since. They suddenly closed the doors and closed it off to the public. Even military personnel, let alone security forces, weren't allowed in. The whole site had this giant erected fence that was like something you'd see in Jurassic Park, and it looked like it was designed for a T-Rex. It was electrified and powered off-grid with multiple generator backups and multiple solar setups. Looks like whatever they were trying to do was keep very secret and safe, considering that you wouldn't find the fence unless you walked about 8 miles into the woods. So this military installation has been abandoned for a long time. We don't think there's anything there. Nothing could survive that long on its own, and any animals inside were non-existent. Even during wildfires, they wouldn't let fire crews in. They just said, let it burn. Fight the fire around the fence. Don't go in. Let it burn. And we realized why. But not when we first arrived. After our first night. So, me and my unit, we're all pretty close knit. We planned on opening a business together after our last deployment, and our last deployment was in these old fire towers that were retrofitted for security purposes, and to keep an eye over the entire installation from above. And these Firewatch towers had the same kind of security measures that kept the base secure. We don't understand why. We don't understand why we would need to be secure from the people at the installation. So we see these row of Firewatch towers. We each get assigned one. There's 4 of us. It looks like there used to be 5 towers, but one looks like it's blown to bits, probably with an anti aircraft missile system or something like that. Looks like a Javelin missile hit. It's blown right off the frame. And we go check out, of course there's a long trip in over this overgrown dirt road that leads to around the property. And there's one gate, in or out. And the gate's designed to let our vehicles in. And we were told to park our vehicles inside the secure compound, being Site X, or Site Alpha. Site X, or Site Ox, they called it, was the security post, was Ox Post. And when we first got there, we realized the place hasn't been touched in years. Our job was to retrofit it, make sure it's suitable for remote viewing, and use the surveillance equipment that we brought with us to set up to secure the grounds, make sure that the security stayed secure over the years. We were given a large compliment. Looked like we're packing out to go to Afghanistan. We were given everything from anti-tank missiles to grenades to 40mm grenade launchers, extra ammunition. It looks like they were packing us out for war. But it was a security posting. What was all this for? Why would we need this? We're given a large surplus of claymores, landmines, and other such stuff, and perimeter security systems to keep the perimeter secure. So, on all of this, we're kind of like, what the hell are we packing for? You know, are we invading a country? Like, what the hell? So, of course, you know, like anti-tank mines and stuff like that doesn't make much sense for a security posting. You know, like, what the hell are we trying to prevent? Like, is there people trying to get in this place? Like, we're asking and making all these inquiries, and we're like, we need more information. Why do we need this? It's like, they just said security precaution. Just in case. I'm like, just in case. What? We just figured some, you know, pogue was in charge of inventory. So, we head out, and little do we know that would be our last deployment. And we were said to have died in the line of duty if we died on this deployment. So, this was a legit deployment. So, we're kind of weirded out that they told us that's why they told us that. And we would get an honorable burial. And they were telling us stuff. This is never stuff we've been told before. So it's kind of like, what the hell is happening? The security posting. Like, come on. I figured it was this command messing with our heads. We couldn't have been more wrong. First night rolls around. We got all our surveillance equipment set up. We're like, we don't need all this perimeter stuff. It's like, come on. You know, we got 50 cal sniper rifles. We're rocking 50 cal Barrett M82s with armor-piercing incendiary rounds. All we have to do is fire a warning shot, and yeah, there you go. So we bring, you know, a large number of the gear up, and yeah, just some rifles, ammunition, javelin, and 40mm grenade launcher. We were each given a 40mm fully automatic belt-fed grenade launcher, and each one was loaded with live grenades. And we're like, why do we need this? Like, this is low overkill. This is a lot of military hardware for a security posting. So, we were also given large numbers of ammunition. And so we set up. We got our comms set up. We got our surveillance set up. We got a perimeter set up. And we set up a perimeter around the gate, the exterior gate, as well as the interior gate surrounding the towers. On each side of the towers, it was dividing two facilities. One was a lab, one was a living facility. And there was a gate in between, 2 layers of gates that protected the towers from both. And we didn't understand why. That was kind of odd to us. So we go and we're just kind of like, okay, well, maybe whatever they were working on was, you know, a little less than savory, and they wanted to keep it far away from themselves. You know, or maybe it was, you know, just because it was bioweapons, they wanted to keep a defensive perimeter from, you know, any accidental contamination. The weird thing was you had to leave the facility to get to the facility, you had to go through double gated perimeter, and you had to leave the initial facility. You couldn't go across. It was designed that way, so you had to actually leave base to get to the lab. Like, oh, that doesn't make much sense. That seems like a serious security oversight, where you'd have to leave the base to get to the lab and re-enter the base. That's weird. Maybe it was part of the base. Maybe the main road was a part of the base at some point. So, you know, of course, we're not thinking much of it, but, you know, they did later install a gate there. You know, that was one of our jobs to make sure the new gate was functional still. And they said they were proud to say they did it in 2 hours. And we got there and the tools were still there. And they're like, yeah, no shit, they did it in 2 hours. They left all their shit here. We didn't realize why they left their stuff there, because they never left. So, previously to us showing up, there was some rain. When we saw that their tools were there and it was all rust. A lot of their tools were rusty. And, you know, the gate was functional and they got it up and running. And, but their tools were there. It was weird in their trucks too. And it was, you know, there was nothing really else. There's also a few military trucks, you know, more from like the, you know, early 2000s, maybe 90s. So we figured, oh, maybe they just got left here. But then, you know, they had full tank of gas and the tank was full, and there's pretty new hardware inside too as well. So we're like, okay, that's weird. Maybe they put that stuff here for just in case for us. There was nothing about it in the briefing, but okay. But the utility trucks as well, so I was like, okay, this is weird. Maybe the guys got it. Maybe the trucks broke down. So we planned on checking them once we got all settled. So night rolls around. We see some red lights in the woods. So we call out. We shine a light over there. One of the things we brought was large spotlights, and the red lights disappear. We figure some maintenance guys still out there. Maybe they got stuck on the other side of the fence. We try our radio comms, and nothing. We know that they were on the same comm signal because they're Army Corps of Engineer guys. We saw the red lights. Maybe they were using their own. Maybe they had lights with them. Or, low visibility lights. For for tactical night use. So we're like, okay, this is weird. Why is there 2 red lights out there? So we didn't think much of it, and we just kind of were like, okay. But also, one other weird thing was where the red lights were. There was no perimeter breach. So we figured we set up one of the perimeter sensors wrong. We had to redo it. Thing is, these lights moved around quite a bit, and it was not possible that all the perimeter sensors were faulty, considering we tested all of them, and they were all reading as working earlier that day as we set them up. So they were all faulty all of a sudden. That didn't make sense. So, the sun's finally going down, and it's getting dark, and so we end up, saying, okay, well, let's take shifts for the night. So, first shift rolls around. I wake up. First shift, I go to sleep. Okay? So I wake up. I hear screaming over the comms and gunfire. I wake up to it. I grab my rifle and I run out. I start yelling, "What's going on?" It's fire. It's Tower 2. Tower 2. Tower 2. Tower 2 is under attack. And all we see is these red lights running up to the tower. Running up the tower. Running. And then boom. There goes Tower 2. The son of a bitch set off a grenade and blew himself up. Tower with him. And the red lights run down again. We shine a light over there and nothing was there. Okay, this is weird. And we're kind of like, oh shit, our buddy's dead. What the hell just happened? So night 2 runs around. And we're much more alert, and we realize something is out here. These red lights are fucking with us, and we need to do something about it. So, obviously, one of our buddies is dead. This is not, whatever it is, isn't friendly. And when we shined our light, there's no one there. We thought it may have been the Army engineers that set up the gate, but I think whatever they did, they let in. When they set up the gate, I think they let whatever was in there in here. But then we saw it out there, so was there 2 of them. So, of course, what do? We stand guard. We don't abandon our post, and we keep watch. Next night rolls around. None of us want to sleep. We're all very alert, watching others. We see red lights again. We got lights on them. They're coming up to the gate. The main gate that divides the 2 facilities. The living facility and the lab. The lab side is where it's living. Suddenly, the gate opens. Like I said, like the creature had a keycard access. But he didn't even touch the keycard. It just opens and he runs up to it. He runs in. Whatever it is huge. You see only a shadow of it. His red glowing eyes. It runs up to the stairs. Tower number 3. Tower number 3 starts firing as it ran right by the new gate. Again, like it had access. It was weird. It wasn't human, whatever it was. We both start firing from both sides, striking it every single time, seeing bullets spark against each other. And gets to the top of the tower. Door opens. All you hear is gunfire, gunfire, gunfire. and red. The gunfire stopped. And the lights turn red. The creature runs out and runs off. We fire at it more. It disappears again. And we're like, why are the lights red? We call him on the radio, and we realize the lights aren't red. The glass is red with his blood. Another friend down. Lost another friend. Now, we're both wanting revenge. This thing's killed 2 of our friends. And this is personal. So we take every bit of explosives we possibly can and set it up the next day. Considering that this thing only comes out at night. We've been able to move around at night, no problem. Or at day during the day, no problem. So, we set up every piece of explosive gear we have. Train every weapon on that gate, including the 40mm grenade launchers. We go grab 2 of the other 40mm grenade launchers and extra ammunition from the other 2 towers, which were left on the balcony and weren't harmed during the explosion. They're still functional. We go grab this gear, and we set up. We each grab 2 50 cal sniper rifles, Barrett M82s. More ammunition, more magazines. We grab our M14s and all our extra ammunition. We create a barricade with the trucks. Weirdly enough, the trucks all still worked fine. The workers just vanished, or they were taken. We tried to find our friends during the day too, but their bodies were gone. All there was blood. Even in the blown building, there's just still blood. But no bodies. No fragments, no nothing. So, next night rolls around. We catch a couple Z's during the day. We take shifts catching Z's. And next night rolls around. And of course, it comes again. Stops at the trucks, the barricade of trucks. We see it. We set up more surveillance equipment to see if it could get through the trucks. It walks through it like there's nothing even there. It just goes straight through the trucks without even leaving a scratch. Now we know why it's been stopping all our bullets. Walks by every single explosive. Doesn't stop it. None of them go off. None of the mines go off. And then we realize it's walking through the tripwires and not tripping them. It gets to my last friend. Gets to him. Gets to his tower. Goes up. He's gone. Nothing but red. More gunfire than I could ever imagine. We expended all the grenades. All the 40mm grenades, 50 cals and everything were all used up by the time it got to him. Nothing but red. Again. Another tower. Lighting up red. With blood. Next morning I go check. He's not there. And now it's just me. I'm not going to abandon my poster or my friends. So, I set up a tree line explosives, a line of explosive charges along the tree line. I set up one at the base of my tower. Direct it to the gate. set up a bunch of shaped charges along the path to my gate. And I set up another set of explosives to be remotely detonated at the gate. And I see it at night. It comes, stands at the gate like it always does, and I detonate the first tree line of explosives. And it lights up the night sky in red. Fiery balls of explosions in the tree line as the trees catch fire. And then something weird happens. All the trees in the woods are burning, but then they go out like it was nothing. There's not even scorch marks. And I set up the second charge where it's standing right on top of, and it doesn't phase it. I set up another set of charges as it runs up to the tower, each one blowing it up, each one blowing it up time and time again. And then it gets to the gate, and the gate opens, and I set up the directional charge, blowing it to high hell. Except it doesn't even scratch it. In a last-ditch effort, I write this letter to warn whoever comes here to run. Don't stay the night. It's still here, but I'm not. I hope you liked that story. It was a good story. That's part 2 of Alpha. So, hope you like it, enjoy, and stay tuned, like, subscribe for more.